Okay, second batch of apples with mango, because I bought 10 cans, and I think they all came in dented, and so far I've used 2, with maple sugar. It was a little over a cup of maple sugar. Okay, so I'm going to just do a quick little video here. I'm going to just talk about this for a second. Alright, this is apple again. If you notice the size jar, they're pint-sized jars, right? With mango. I pureed it. And I don't know if I don't remember if I put maple sugar in this. I think I did. That's the only kind of sugar I would have put in it. Right? So this would be apple mango with maple sugar. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. I canned that 2 days ago. I didn't wash the jars yesterday. So today I'm going to wash the jars. Alright, just whatever. Hold on a minute. Okay, so I'm just going to do a quick little video here because I'm like swamped. And I just got to stay focused. Hold on a minute. Let me check that little Houdini baby. Okay. I gotta just focus on what I gotta do. Now, a lot of what I do, I create for myself in terms of work. But if our governments weren't being so irresponsible, I wouldn't be so stressed out. Hold on. This is too bright. Hurting my eyes. I'm kind of getting a headache. And I haven't started my day yet. I gotta wash the dishes. Then I gotta wash 4-gallon jars. 4 1-gallon jars. Because there's things I still have to put away, and that's the best. Like quinoa and that kind of stuff. I bought a little extra with an oxygen absorber. Because I'm not doing this next year, right? I won't need to. And wash those jars. And then at some point, I've got apples that need to be done like ASAP because they got bruises and whatever, where I've got other apples, really nice ones, in the fridge that I will work with over a period of time. Anyway, I ordered some more beef because it was on sale. Only because it was on sale, people. $5.99 a pound. Sirloin steak. This time I put no substitutes because the last time I did that, they ended up giving me that fatty beef that I ground up and I was like, that's not what I wanted. So I put no substitutes. You either give me what I want or just don't bother giving it to me. Right? And so anyway, once I'm done that, and the turkey, I did get the turkey, ground turkey, and they came in nice little round vacuum sealed packs. So ended up putting them into Auntie Shamay's fridge, and right, so there are like, and I left myself out 1 10-pound bag, which is ready to can. So when the beef comes, I'll can beef, and I'm gonna do salmon size jars with the ground turkey, just for small meals upstairs for the kids and I, right? But after that, I don't need no more turkey. And you know what? If we go into a turkey shortage, to which there's going to be some kind of turkey shortage because it's already there, right? People just don't notice it because turkey isn't on their mind until the holiday season. Now, I could see governments pumping out a bunch of turkeys at Christmas time or Thanksgiving or something like that just to keep the people pacified and dumbed down to what's really going on in terms of that global depopulation agenda, right? Namely, those below a certain income level because we're the easiest to exploit, right? And to decimate and to destroy our lives because we don't have the resources to pay $100,000 for a lawyer to fight for our rights and the rights of our family in the midst of heinous crimes and corruption. Okay. So we do what we can do, right? We try and take control of our lives where we feel it's where we can. And with me, it's having that safety net with food security. Okay? Because even after I'm well gone, like dead, right? Even after I'm dead, there's still enough food around through my efforts to get my kids and my grandkids through for a while. For how long, I don't know. Because the supply chain itself is being decimated on a global scale. And that's what I said in my last video, right? It's not just 1 or 2 or 3 countries that we're dealing with here. We're dealing with pretty much all countries, with some of these countries putting their exports on lockdown, like India, for example. They're not exporting any kind of rice. And yes, we can depend on Thailand to fill the gap. But for how long? Especially if that region goes into war. I'm just saying. Okay? So, in regards to beef, okay, I'm just talking about the food stuff first, and then I'm going to talk about people and their attitudes, and then I'm going to end the video. And I'm just going to focus for the next couple of weeks, basically, on what I need to do. Okay? Because there's other things I want to do, like leather work. I need to sew Amari's some pajamas and those kind of things. Whether I get to that point or not remains to be seen. You know, because especially in the winter, he likes to throw off the blankets. He doesn't like blankets on him. So, you know, it's not so bad at this time of the year because, you know, it's warm. My upstairs is warm. But come winter time, he's throwing off his blankets and he's, right? So I'm like, I got to make little pants that, and he's ripping his diaper, and, you know, he sticks his hands down his pants, and he's ripping his diaper, and then he, you know, he peeing and leaking all over the place. And I'm like, you know, or, you know, I gotta make little pants that he really can't stick his hands in there, but they're not too tight, and with little snap-on booties to keep his feet warm, being that he throws his blankets off. Right? Because I can't, you know, he's too big for sleepers now. So it's not like I can put him in a sleeper for the night and rest at ease, right? So you mean, you know, whether I get to that point where I'm sewing little pajamas for him with little booties, snap-on booties, and or whatever, you know, who knows, right? Fleece, working with fleece is easy, but besides that point, okay, what was I talking about? Beef. And we need to talk about beef. Just like with turkey. The only reason we'll get turkey, if we get turkey, whole birds, where it satisfies the general population's needs in a instant when it comes to, oh, it's Christmas time coming. Oh, it's, you know, what is it? Thanksgiving. You know, it's time to have a turkey, right? Let's go buy a turkey. You expect to go to the grocery store and buy a turkey. If you can't find that turkey, and there's another 100 people behind you that can't find that turkey, there's going to be a turkey revolution. People are going to get mad. That's when they're going to wake up and, holy shit, something's wrong. I'm tired of eating fucking chicken legs. You know? At $1.77 a pound. Sorry, $2.99 a pound. On sale. On sale. They want their turkey. So, I can see the government filling that gap just to keep them dumbed down to what's going on in the back room. Okay? I'm just saying. Well, beef is the same way. Although people know that beef is going higher and higher and higher and higher, but many of them don't look past their noses because they don't want to you know, use their critical thinking skills, or, you know, or they put all their trust in the government because, you know, they're brown nosers and they think that they're safe because, you know, they follow all the rules, and if the government says do this, this, and this, even though it's corrupt and it leads into heinous crimes, but there's benefits around it, many of them will do that, and therefore, you know, they don't care, you see, because they seem somehow to think that they're first in line, and many of them are. But when you go past the propaganda, I guess, right? I mean, right now, sure, you can buy beef, but at what cost? Sure, you can find beef at $5.99 a pound, thinking you're going to get it delivered to your house like last time. But then they end up selling you fatty beef for more money as a substitute. Okay. Or they might not even sell it to you unless you want to pay $23 a pound. A lot of trickery going on, right? So this time when I ordered the $5.99 a pound beef for sirloin, whatever it is, with very little fat on it, I put no substitute. You trick me once, you're not going to trick me twice. You give me what I want, or don't ask for my money. Because I'm canning that, people. Right? Where a lot of people just think, like Tisha, well, if I want beef for dinner, I'll just go pay $45 for a little piece of meat. Because what can I do? Well, there are things you can do. And it's an inconvenience to do them because it creates work. It piles up. You got to figure out where you're going to put it after the fact. And you might have to dig deep into your pocket and go into a little bit of debt and remind yourself that you got to play catch up, because when the time comes to play catch up, the beef that you're buying today will either not be there and it won't be available, or it's going to be twice as much as to what you're paying today. And how people are going to react to that? Well, I don't know. You can only eat so many chicken legs, okay? Until after a while, you might get disgusted with life. And that's assuming that you'll be able to find chicken legs, because it's a domino effect. First is turkeys. Well, no, first it was beef. The beef prices went up. The supply shrunk. The choice of what you can buy shrunk. It's not always available. And now it's turkeys, right? And, pork has been a fairly stable staple. But the problem with pork is that it's not as nutritional as beef. And if you start going into your cured pork, like sausages with the nitrates, the hams, the cured hams, pepperoni sticks, sandwich meats that are cured, you lose all your nutritional value for the most part. You do. Okay? So, what I'm saying is, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm saying that you need to stock up on the things that now there are people out there that don't eat meat, so it's not a big deal to them, but the majority of the population does. And whatever's going on in Canada is very deep rooted in the United States. So as weather modification is affecting regions where cattle herds are raised right along with their feed, like for example, corn. The corn that I found came from Canada, not too far from me. And, that was a rare find because, I'm always shopping in bulk online through the different various wheats and those kind of things, right? And it took a long time before I found whole corn again, right? And, but as it is in the United States right now, with their corn surplus, okay, the majority of corn that is grown and survives droughts, flooding, hailstorms, and all this other crap that's going on through a lot of weather modifications, okay? The cream of the crop of the corn is being siphoned off and shipped to ethanol companies that, like manufacturing companies that take that corn and make ethanol, which is a fuel. And they take the best of the best because I guess that's what they need to produce the ethanol. So what it does is it takes away from the human supply of viable corn, which is already at risk to having the product cut by a third in terms of growing, right? So instead of producing 100% of quality corn, farmers are faced between 70 to 60%, maybe less, depending on the area, of what they can produce. Like even here in British Columbia, Canada, where I bought the corn, they were, the people who sold it to me, farmers, specifically noted and pointed out to me that it wasn't as optimal as they would have liked it to be because of the droughts and the dry weather and lack of rain, and they had to harvest a little earlier because it was, their crops were starting to fail. So versus losing the whole crop, they harvest what they could. Either or, I was still satisfied with the product. But when you come to the major producers, like in the United States, where you're dealing with tons and tons and tons of corn, right? These ethanol companies are buying up the food grade corn for their production line, which leaves animal feed for human beings. For those manufacturers that make crackers and all this other stuff with corn, instead of using quality corn, they're using the animal feed because there's not enough corn available to buy because there's no surplus of corn. So we're starting to eat inferior corn through the foods that are being manufactured and then resold to the public through our grocery stores, which takes away from feed from the cattles, for the cattles and everything else that they feed, like the chickens and the cattle and the pigs and the turkeys and whatever. So what that does is it forces the farmers to sell their herd because they can't get the feed or it's too expensive, right? The animal feed is now going for human feed. And if the farmers want it, it's too expensive. Never mind looking for frickin' hay. So a lot of the farmers are having to supplement the cows. If it's not drought, they can't get the feed with hay, when that hay should be used in the wintertime versus in July. A lot of farmers were starting to feed their cows hay in July because there was no feed and there was no grass for them to graze on. And they had no choice. So now they're at the point where they're just selling off their cows. So we're going through another round of selling off cows. This is what I'm saying. Okay, a year and a half ago, whatever it was, 2 years, they ran a whole bunch of cows through the slaughterhouse, downsized their herds, did whatever because of COVID, and then, stabled out for a little bit, right, whatever, and now they're facing the same dilemma, only it's worse, right? And instead of having cows, they're attempting to grow, I guess, wheat and maybe hay or something. I don't know, alpha. I don't know. They're not raising cows, though, that's for sure. And it takes 2 years to rebuild the herd, assuming that they can even rebuild the herd, right? After they deplete the herd. Not to mention, you've got 18,000 cows blowing up, literally, and those are milking cows, blowing up, boom, in one instant, wherever that was, somewhere in the States, because of lack of, proper ventilation, which the methane gas within the building where these 18,000 cows were housed just went boom, okay? Or they're dying in the fields, 2,000, 10,000, 1,000, whatever, at a time. Or farmers are waking up in the morning and finding out that 80 cows at one time have disappeared off their property with no tire tracks. Like, who does that? Okay? So you can expect this time next year in 2024 of September for the prices to be more than what you're paying today assuming that you can find it. And if Canadians think that they're insulated from this because this is just an American problem with those farmers down there with their ranches, well, no. This is not just an American problem. Okay, this is a Canadian problem too, because our prices are like off the freaking scale, okay, when it comes to buying beef. When you know stuff like that, and even though your family may piss you off in terms of your kids or whatever, you know, and you get to my age, you really worry about what they're going to be eating in 4 or 5 years from now. Right? So that puts pressure on you, I guess, as a parent. Because I suppose if I didn't have any kind of kids, or grandkids, I wouldn't feel the need to stock up on freaking canned corned beef or canning beef or ground turkey. Right? Because I want them to have the vitamins and the calories, people. So that's what I got to do, you know? Like, I don't appreciate my government putting this kind of stress on me, never mind my family and their future, with a whole bunch of competitive people around me that are becoming desperate. I mean, I can't even plant shit in my yard because of people and their stupidity. Julian's sister, yeah, she comes, she pokes around, she fucking kills my trees or whatever, my grass, digs around, ran off with the potatoes, you know, and just does whatever because she's sick mentally. My son says, you guys are still going on with that shit? I said, it's not about going on with that shit. It's about the bitch fucking stalking me and stalking my house, right? Creating mental issues with my grandson ever since, you know, she started with her crap, because she herself has mental issues. But it's more than just her, though, people. There's some individuals in my yard, I'm sure, right, that just have no morality. You know, my landlady, Mrs. Gill, she phoned me up yesterday. And she, like, having it rough, people. God, I wish she would not have taken, you know what? I told her, don't do it. She said, and she did it. And she got blood clots riddled throughout her whole body, right? She said, they're cutting me up my legs. They're cutting me in my chest. Cut. I still got stitches. And she 2-3 times, she going back and forth, as they're trying to take out blood clot from blood clot. But are these real true blood clots? Or is it that fibrous shit that's growing in people after they get this fucking crap? Do you honestly think that the healthcare system is going to be honest about what the hell they're taking out of my landlady's body? Her son came to my house, right, to collect rent. And, you know, he told me that she was an emergency. I said, oh my gosh, she's an emergency again. So anyway, I told him, I said, don't do it, right? And he said, I'm not. I said, good, don't do it. And I gave him a hug, right? Because there's not enough information about this stuff. So in the meantime, my landlady, she's suffering. Literally, she is suffering. But she asked me if there was some plums. And there should be some plums. But I got freighted again on the fucking plum tree. I got a teeny weeny little bowl. I went to go check, 2-3 weeks ago? I don't know what it was. I said, Andre, get up there and go check those plums. And he grabbed a few, but they weren't quite ready yet, right? And I said, okay, we'll just leave them, right? And like, I didn't know what was going on with my landlady. If she would have showed up or whatever, I mean, for sure, right? Because, you know, it makes her feel good, right? But she didn't come. I forgot about him. And then I went out there to go look to see if there was any available. Every last freaking plum on that tree was gone. And not only was it gone, people, there was nothing on the ground. Because if they fell off the tree, there would have been all over the freaking ground, and there wasn't any. tells me somebody went in there and stole them all, just like they stole those white flowers out in my front yard. Watching my videos, knowing that I was going to go out to the eye doctor the next, or whatever it was, that day. They knew I was going to be out of the house, and they fucking waited for it. And yeah, they stole the shit so that when I came back, that thing was bare. Those flowers, those whatever, was completely fucking bare. Only two kinds of people would do that. Julian's sister, because she stalks my fucking videos, she stalks my fucking house, and nobody does shit about it. Nobody does a fucking thing about it, people. Not even including her own damn mother. Because her mother encourages that kind of behavior. Or it's one of my immigrant neighbors out here that like to eat that. But for what it was worth, they could have just knocked on my door and said, hey, remember last year you told me I could have some? Do you mind if I take some of that? Because I want to go home and make a meal. I would have been like, go ahead. Just leave a few to make it look nice. Don't take all of them. But it was done with malice. It was done with spite, which tells me it was Julian's fucking sister. Yeah, I do believe that. You know? Does that mean that nobody else in my neighborhood is raiding my yard? Well, by default, it's Julian's sister, because there's something wrong with that girl. Okay? And yeah, there might be one or two people out here that would be bold enough to come in and raid the fucking plum tree just to have plums. Right? But they'd have to do it like in the wee hours of the morning when nobody's around. And I didn't even plant potatoes. Nope. No, I don't fucking plant nothing. Because we know what would happen. Not because perhaps that they needed the potatoes. They would just do it out of spite. Because you can still find potatoes in the grocery store and they're not that expensive. And I don't see too many people out here that are desperate. So, okay, whatever. That's not what I care about at this point. What I'm trying to say is, you just need to prepare, seriously, because our governments have failed us. It's a slow incrementation, where some people are just going to get locked out. And that grocery store is going to be one big freaking display case. And people are seeing that more and more and more in the United States. Not so much out here yet, because our population is lower. Although the government brings in the immigrants, which puts a strain on the economy when it comes to housing and food security and that kind of stuff. But that's by design to displace people in the end. Okay? And of course, some people are more vulnerable than others. So in the meantime, I am just going to do what I got to do. Right? And just stay focused with no regrets. Okay? Now, the other thing I want to say is, like, I don't understand. Listen, whatever happened to my life, for whatever reason, was instrumented by bad individuals. I'm not even going to call them all human beings, because they're not. There's something else that walks among us that cloaks itself as a human being, but it is not. And I do believe that they're feeding off of humans like humans feed off of cattle. Okay? And with that said, you know, losing Uncle John in the manner that I did, Shamay in the manner that I did, Sierra in the manner that I did, and what happened to Andre in the manner that it did when he was little, and how it disrupted my whole family and really started the chain process of dismantling the family as a whole. Not that it didn't start when I was illegally evicted from my home in 2003 under legislation that wasn't even in effect yet, and it was illegal all the way around, to which to this day the government wants to take absolutely no responsibility for. Okay? I didn't do that, people. that was all instrumented by something else. And humans did help to facilitate that. Okay? So, you know, it's been pretty rough for a long time for me. And I know I can sound, I guess you could say, pretty miserable, jaded, angry. I'm not really spiteful, other than I'll tell you exactly what I'm thinking. Like, Eleanor Gilding is a piece of fucking Catholic shit. That's being spiteful. But with that spite comes truth. Only a piece of fucking shit would do what they did to Uncle John and his family for the idea to steal his money. And she just so happens to be a Catholic. Yeah, okay. Catholic piece of shit. That's my spite. Let that ring in your ears, Eleanor Gilding. Because you know when your time fucking comes, that's what's going to be repeated over and over and over with your, what is that called? Prerogative? You know, where you're like in perpetual fucking torment. Yeah. Or Dr. Barr, who pillaged my daughter's body for profit in a public hospital. So that he can think that he can walk free and be rich in a society, in a country he doesn't even fucking belong in. Okay? Because he was Punjabi. Go back to your own fucking country and pillage your own fucking people of their organs and their teeth and whatever else morbid thing that you did. Because you're a piece of fucking Punjabi shit. So we've got the pieces of shit that are Catholic, and we've got the pieces of shit that are Punjabis, right? That's my spite. That's where I'm spiteful. But there's truth to that, okay? So it's not spite. It's truth with no justice. Okay. So it's hard to get past that, people, because there is no justice. There is none. And it damaged my family more than you could ever think. Because at the end of the day, what do I get left with? Tisha? Oh, somebody that wants to mutilate their body. If they're not putting fucking tattoos all over her body, I'm like, why are you putting tattoos all over your back? Oh, I like it. And I'm like, oh my God, like, aren't you afraid of like skin cancer later on in life? Or you're going to get old, it's going to start sagging, you know, like, you right? Oh, well, and I'm like, oh, whatever, it's your body. I can't, you know, like, you know, and now, she, you know, I don't know, she's doing this breast augmentation that somehow it's gonna satisfy fucking Alex. Yeah, I'll give it 5 years. See what the fuck happens in 5 years from now. Like, I'm so scared for Tisha. Like, you don't even know, people. My mother had breast implants, okay? And they fucking ruptured. Her left tit ruptured. And in those days, they were silicone because, you know, they were coming out with this stuff, right? The bloody silicone went up into her armpit, into her lymph nodes, and everything got all, oh, it was awful. Traveled down her arm caved in, her eye went weird, her pupil went, it did just, the silicone traveled throughout her fucking body, and oh my God, like, you don't even know. And Tisha's like doing whatever she's doing, and I'm like, don't do it. Like, oh, and she's, oh, and I'm like, oh my God, you know, like, fuck. And then she puts the pressure on me to want to go to her house for a week, and, you know, and just like, right, you know, it's enough for me to do what I'm doing, and I don't feel well, and, you know, but I'm doing because I'm afraid for my family, and, you know, and at least my son and my daughter have food to feed the kids and themselves, and but I'm not getting the love from my daughter because it's easy for her at this point in life to go to the grocery store and spend $2,400 a month, but yet she takes her mother for granted, thinking just because I'm grandma, I should babysit at the drop of a fucking hat. And she doesn't even come in and fucking help to clean up after the fact. She just runs in, grabs the kids, and run out the fucking door. Then she calls me 4 days later and say, I want to drop off the kids for the day. I mean, she started going for the fucking day. I got things to do. I have to do this. I have to do that. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And they'd be here like 8 hours. And if it's not that, oh, well, I'm dropping off the kids and want to go out with Alex, do this, do that. And then it'd be all fucking night. So it's like 2 times a week. Like, what the fuck? Right? As I'm trying to prepare for doomsday. Not for me, people. I'm not going to be around that long. But for my kids. And she doesn't see that. And when I say no, she gets mad. And then she's still, And then, she's telling me she's going to go buy this house in some little fucking island because Alex owns land out there because somebody left it to him. And let me just go check on him. Hold on a minute. Yeah, and I'm like, well, that's just great. So, like, you're going to abandon me, right? And the kids. Oh, and I'm like, well, that's the reality of it. That's what you're doing. You can't expect me to go there, drop everything, leave everything, be on some island. What if Amari, whatever. Oh, we'll come to Canada. No, it's not that fucking simple. Right? I'm not no fucking rich bitch. I can just hop on a fucking airplane, bring Amari out here for surgery. Because I'm stuck on some island with a volcano. With energy weapons pointed in my direction because the government and their things want that fucking island for their next smart city, like Maui. I'm just saying, right? She doesn't care, people. She cuts me up. She cuts up fucking Andre because he struggles with school. I don't want to say she cuts up Amari, but she doesn't want the responsibility. I've been saying it for years. That's plain to see. Because, it's not an easy job. It gets pretty smelly. Whatever Julian's sister is thinking, she's a fucking retard. Because she ain't going to want to deal with fucking shitty diapers and every fucking 2 hours on the hour for 4 days in a fucking row as they're leaking out all over everything after you just wash shit. And right? And, she's not going to fucking be able to deal with that shit. So who does she think she is? At least Tisha's honest about it. Mom, I can't. It's too much, right? Like, but I'm like, well, where does this come from? I can tell you where some of it comes from, people, and that's why I'm doing this video, because it's systemic with these young people. If you notice, young people, right? When, like, some of Tisha's friends, right? One of them would lose their children to foster care. And the aunt had an opportunity to take the kids versus for the children to be in foster care. And all that was said basically was, well, I don't want to. I want to live my life. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. My sister did this, and oh well, she can deal with the consequences, and those kids can stay in foster care. Because my life is more important for me to do what I want to do in a me world. Me. Over the years, several of Tisha's friends have come into that same situation and have all said the same shit. No, I don't want the responsibility. It's not my responsibility. I want to live my life. I want to be free. I want to do this. I want to do that. Fuck my nephew, fuck my niece, fuck my sister, fuck my brother. I ain't want nothing to do with it. But yet sit there and talk about them. Versus fucking sucking it up and standing beside your family. This is what Tisha was hearing over a period of years from other friends over a period of years, to which now that she's faced with a similar situation in terms of, well, if I can't look after Mari, you are. Well, I don't know, Mom. I don't know. I don't think I can. I want to travel. I want to do this. I want to do that. And it's not my responsibility and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, holy fucking shit. Shut up. Like, fucking shut up. You want from me now to do this, this, and this. But when I want, you don't want. The hell with you. In this last little stint, if she's that I don't want to say naive, because it's more like being selfish. Selfish. To expect me to drop everything, blind as a freaking bat, to go to her house, to chase after toddlers, people. I am 61 years old. I raised 5 fucking kids. I worked myself to death. I never, not once, have ever had a holiday since the birth of my first child, and I still work like a dog. And she wants me to chase toddlers blind as a bat. Just so she doesn't have to pay for fucking childcare. Well, she basically mutilates her body, not understanding that, oh, sure, you might be okay for the first few years, but give it a fucking few more years and wait for the shit to happen, because I seen it happen with my mom. Oh, you're jinxing me. No, I am not fucking jinxing you. I am giving you a fucking fact check. You don't know what you're doing when you start cutting up your body like that, taking out fucking fat or whatever it is that they're going to take out after they chop off your fucking nipple to get to it, just so that you can feel beautiful, to pacify somebody, her man, who's going to end up cutting you up in 2 years after the fact with the same old bullshit. Oh, well, it didn't work. There's something wrong. They don't look the same like they were when you were young and a virgin. As he beats down her self-esteem. Because that's what it is. Right? Andre strained his foot. He's still limping around. Right? He's walking a little more, but still. He would have been useless. I would have been who knows? Amari could have had a seizure. Who knows? That was too much to ask for me. Right? But it was enough for her to say, I hate you. I'm not talking to you no more. Right? Whatever. Fuck off then. Fuck off. I hope you don't die, because I think she's doing it today. Seriously. I don't know. Alex makes $80,000 a year. He can take a fucking week off. Look after his own fucking kids. Look after fucking Tisha, being that Tisha's doing it for him so that he can look at her and say, oh yeah, you look beautiful now because your tits look like they used to. Right? Do you understand? And then he can go back to fucking work. And she can run up to the grocery store, spend $2,400 a month, sorry, $28 now because the cost of food went up, and then come back and fucking cut me up because I won't babysit at the drop of a fucking hat. Doesn't matter if it's for a night, for a day, or for a week. Because you know it's just a matter of time before she finds something else to bitch at. And then when I say, okay, well, I'm getting kind of tired here, if, right? What's going to happen with Amari? Oh, well, I don't want. Well, fuck off then. Fuck off. That's young people for you. Because it's not just Tisha. And then you get these ones with a false fucking sense of reality that think they're going to be superhuman fucking ants once they get Amari. And will be able to hold down the fucking fort as they're swinging between laundry, doing the laundry, and a fucking stripper pole. What you gonna do? Run off to the fucking club, go do your little fucking strip, come home and wash fucking shitty fucking blankets? Yeah, okay, I'd like to see you do that. No. I have fucking recording of your cousin talking about how you and your mother just looked at Amari and ignored him while your cousin was looking after Amari, while your brother wasn't even around for the last 3 fucking court order visits. And then your mother bailed fucking ship because she knew she got caught. Right? Just another, well, I don't want the responsibility. It's too much. I'm gonna take my blood money and go buy myself a fucking house so I can walk around like some black fucking rich bitch. Black fucking rich bitch. With a fake fucking car accident. Because she did something somehow, some way to instigate the murder of my daughter. Well, her crazy lunatic fucking daughter thinks that she can look after Amari, even though I've got it on fucking recording that you and your mother did absolutely shit for him, and since that time, you've been nothing but stalking my fucking house and my fucking YouTube channel, thinking you're cute. Well, one of those nasty ass, I don't know what kind of fucking picture you put up of yourself, but you look worse than a fucking ugly dog. That's your generation of young people. Me. As they're going around fucking mutilating themselves, not realizing that they're gonna have problems in 5 or 10 fucking years from now. Because just because you look good today with fake fucking tits doesn't mean those tits are gonna stay the same in 5 or 10 fucking years after gravity kicks in. So yeah, as a mother, I got a right to be concerned. You want to mutilate your body? I can't stop you. Why would you trust the healthcare system for everything that they've done to this family? Uncle John, huh? Right? Freaking Shamay, Sierra. We're not done with Amari yet, okay? It's not that cut and dry with Amari. Well, you know, it happened before 34. You don't know that. You don't know that. You're assuming. You just don't want to go up against a $2 billion fucking slush fund and fight for fucking justice for nothing. Even when it's staring in your face, that crime. What about fighting for Shamay, Amari's mother, who is an orphan now? With a lunatic fucking cruising the yard stealing fucking potatoes when she's not stealing fucking flowers. I'm just saying. Or getting her friends to do it. Thinking they're all gonna start washing shitty fucking laundry. Shitty! With shit on it! And piss on it! And bottle drips and whatever on it! I'd like to see you fucking do that every fucking week. And then come talk to me 5 years after you've been doing it. Now, I don't need to, though, because I got it on recording, bitch, that you and your mother abandoned fucking Amari at your fucking stupid place while your brother definitely abandoned freaking Amari because he didn't even show up for his fucking birthday. So give your head a fucking shake and back off. Back off. Because you're just a stupid young person. Me. Look at your fucking channel. You're the most vainest person that I've ever fucking come across. You know what vain is? Look up the word vain. Only you're an ugly dog. How an ugly dog could be fucking vain with a fucking mustache, I'll never know. But you are. You're an infection that infects other young people to turn their backs on their fucking family when their family needs them. Because it goes from one young person to another young person to another. I want to live my life. I want to travel. I want to do this. I want to do that. Fuck my nephew. Fuck my niece. Fuck my mother. Fuck my brother. Fuck my sister. Fuck them all because it's me. Yeah, well, fuck you too. Fuck you too. And I tell Andre, I'm going to end it on this note, people, because clearly I'm upset. Right? I'm worried for my daughter, and I can't even fucking connect with her because of her rotten, stinking fucking attitude. Huh? How about that? But this is what I tell Andre. You do for you what you can do for yourself, and try not to ask other people to do it for you. If you can't, because you don't know how, or you need help, that's different. All you can do is ask. But if they abuse you because you can't do it or because you need help, you cut your losses. It doesn't matter how close you feel connected to them. You do not allow people to abuse you because they can't get what they want, because it's about them. Yeah. That's the only thing I can say. Let this me generation fill their fucking boots. Yep. If you're going to find out in the end, it means nothing. Because eventually, poof, you die, nothing moves except you, and everything else stays behind. Right? And it happens through that system called life, except for maybe those reproduced things that come off an assembly line and then put to work, and once their gears or whatever deteriorate because they're somewhat synthetic, artificial, and easy to replace, well, death to them means nothing. And that's why they do what they do, because they're not normal. But for humans, we're, we can only do what we can do. So you better prep. End it on that. Yeah, because whatever's going on out there has infected our kids with a warped sense of fucking me reality, worse than it's ever been. And they put the fear under their feet, right? Whether consciously, most definitely unconsciously, to where they're making bad decisions that not only affect themselves, but everybody around them, to break up the family unit. Okay? And then it's like a domino. It bounces to another, to another, to another, and they all convince themselves that they can turn their fucking backs on their mother, their brother, their father, their sister, their nephew, their aunt, their whatever. Because, it's too much work. Yeah. You have to give up things. Yeah. So don't fool yourself. Julian Johnson's sister. I got it on fucking recording. You and your mother abandoned Amari a long time ago, right on the floor, when you would look at him and say to your cousin, you pick him up. Mm-hmm.